There we go. Peace and blessings to you, sister. How are you? We are on, as always, family. It's your girl, Dr. Shauna. We're going to talk about this KAROL Sanchez situation, but from a different angle. I know a lot of people have already covered KAROL Sanchez. I wasn't going to cover it at all. I am not going to cover it. I was going to cover it because I was like, yeah, so we're not going to entertain the hoax and the lies. However, as I started to really think about it, and I started to think about the ramifications that it's going to cause the black community, specifically black women and black girls, I decided that I am going to discuss it from a different angle. What's up, Laura? How you doing? Peace, Henry. How you doing? So I want you guys to take this opportunity. Walaikum assalam, Larry. I want you guys to take this opportunity and to share the video. What's up? How you doing over there? Who's that? Empower on YouTube. How you doing? What's up, Kayla? How you doing on Facebook? So I have my Facebook and I have my YouTube community. As you know, if one goes down, if Facebook goes down, go over to YouTube. If YouTube goes down, go over to Facebook. I've been a little bit better with my language. I'm trying to comply with community standards, so they have not been shutting out my video, so this is a good thing. So take this opportunity to share the video. Of course, if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I suggest you subscribe to the channel, especially if you are on Facebook. Subscribe to the channel. And if you're not on my Facebook page, my YouTube family, just go ahead and like it, because sometimes I put things there, post things there, polls, engagements, different things that I don't do on YouTube, obviously. So I want to go ahead and just tell my Instagram community that I am on. So give me a moment so I can let them know that I'm on, and we can go ahead and get started, because this is the one community I always leave out. Gotta get better at that, but I just want them to know that I'm on. Give me a second. And let me know what you guys think about this situation when I start to spin it. So we're going to talk about KAROL Sanchez just briefly, but this is really not her focus. This focus is really about the Amber Alert and how it's going to harm our black women. So give me a second, guys. Let me just go ahead and post this for Instagram. What's up, Instagram family? It's your girl, Dr. Shauna. I am live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. So just go to Dr. Shauna, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and listen to what I have to say about the Amber Alert situation with KAROL Sanchez. You know, the lying 16-year-old that got caught with her kidnapping. But I am mad at KAROL, and I'm going to tell you why. I am mad at KAROL, but for different reasons. See you over on YouTube or Facebook. Speak to you soon. All right, guys, let's get going. Here's the thing. When I talk about KAROL and her shenanigans, I want you to know that we can't get ourselves so upset about everything without taking into consideration that we should care. Now, those of you guys who don't know who KAROL is, because some of us don't watch the news and some of us don't pay attention to Amber Alerts as they come in. But KAROL Sanchez is the 16-year-old that was in the Bronx with her mom. And it was about 11:30 at night. And they were walking. And out of nowhere, caught on video, a grainy video that you couldn't really see. But out of nowhere, these guys get out the car, snatch up KAROL, put her in the car, drive away, leaves mom yelling and screaming in Spanish. They're from Honduras. Black, but they're from Honduras. Yelling and screaming in Spanish. Goes to the police department. Lets them know what happened. And 12 hours later, the Amber Alert was released. Now, we already know that KAROL lied. And even though we got the notification that says KAROL was found, I want you to know that KAROL was not found. KAROL reappeared. She wasn't found. So we got to really pay attention to language. We like to always make things seem like it's successful, right? She was found, like they did some good works. But she was not found. She appeared because she lied. She lied. Here's a 16-year-old who allegedly has a 23-year-old boyfriend who did not want to go back to her native land, which is Honduras. Her mama was going to move them back there. Apparently, she called her mom overprotective, and she didn't want to leave. After things got heated up, everyone knows about it. It's all over social media. So the story goes for some people. I'll tell you what I think. But as the story goes for some people, I guess she got a little bit nervous, got a little bit scared, was first dropped off at a family member's house, then apparently walked through the park and reappeared. Now let me tell you this. I can bash Karol. I can. I can go all in on Karol if I really wanted to and say Miss Karol needs to get a behind whooping of her life, right? Miss Karol needs to be on punishment. Miss Karol's behind needs to go back to Honduras. Miss Karol needs community service. Miss Karol needs to be sentenced to mental health counseling. I can go off and I can say 101 things about what she did because as a mother, I was upset. Well, no, I'm lying. Because I did drag my feet with this. So I wasn't upset. I was disappointed at what Miss Karol did because as a mom, I will want the community and the world at large to take my missing black child seriously. If my child got snatched up and put in a car, because we know that human trafficking is real, I will want the world to take my child's kidnapping, which appeared very serious. I will want them to be swift and serious about locating my child. But here's this thing. Some 16-year-olds, when boys and men are involved, they're going to get into things with their parents. They're going to have rocky situations. They're going to have rocky relationships. I get that. I get that. But this video is not about that. This video is about one simple thing. And y'all know I'm always going to address the issue of the system of racism and white supremacy because it badly impacts our family. It badly hurts us. It breaks up our family units. It damages things that happen to us. Psychologically, it damages us. The system really hurts us. And when we are ignored already as a population of people, and if somebody comes along and abuses the system, I get upset. I don't know about anybody else, but I get upset because I understand the ramifications of lying. I understand the ramifications of not having an Amber Alert go out regarding our children. Give me 1 second, guys. Sage, give me 1 second because I hear him tearing up out there and there's adults all out there. Nobody's saying anything. So just give me a second. I'm going to need you guys to be respectful because I'm working. I am on YouTube. And I'm not playing. God damn it, I said I'm not playing. What are you looking at me? Stop bothering. Teenagers. I'm back and I apologize. Had to yell at my teenager. So here's the thing. Let's talk about the Amber Alert. Do y'all even know why Amber Alert exists? Do y'all know why the Amber Alert was created? Well, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it's named after, and this is all important. This is the reason why I'm going to tell you. Right? Somebody said, damn, I know these damn teenagers, man, shoot. Amber Alert is named after Amber Hagerman, which was a white little girl in Arlington, Texas, that was outside on her bike in the parking lot. She was 9 years old when this happened in 1996. She was on her bike, riding her bike, when a black pickup truck pulled up into the parking lot where she was playing, abducted her, and her body was found 4 days later, if I'm not mistaken. And that case was never solved. And so the community in Texas got in an uproar. And they were upset about this because this little 9-year-old, I don't care if the 9-year-old is white, black, Chinese, it don't matter to me. No little baby deserves to have their life snatched from them. But this little 9-year-old this could have been prevented if, well, I'll tell you, there's different reasons why it could have been prevented, but the argument at that time was this could have been prevented if, or it could have been intervened well if the community knew ahead of time that Amber had been abducted by a strange man in a black pickup truck. And so this woman named Diana Simone, I think her name is Diana, you can fact check me, it's not that important to me, but this woman named Diana Simone, she started to advocate for using the emergency alert system, the EAS system. And what she said was, if we were able to tap into that system, we would be able to get out to everybody that a child has been abducted. So she was talking about this on a radio station, I believe, and they liked the idea so much that they adopted it, they picked it up, they had letters sent out, and everybody started advocating for this. Lo and behold, it's picked up. President Bush signs it into legislation that this is what's going to happen. We're going to use the alert system. We're going to coordinate it, and anytime a child is abducted, we're going to send out alert. Now, this came because of the white little girl. And I know some people are going to say, well, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to say to those people, because I'm going to give y'all some research and data, that it does matter. It does matter because the difference in how our children are treated when it comes to the Amber Alert system versus other children, it matters. It matters. So we have to understand that there is certain criteria that must happen in order for the Amber Alert to be issued. And why this is important in the KAROL Sanchez case. First of all, it has to be evidence that a child was abducted. Evidence. In KAROL Sanchez's case, even though she was a liar, she lied, but she was put right into a car. And it was caught on video. That was clear evidence that she was abducted. The second thing is, it needs to be general information about the child to share. General information about the child to share to the public so that we can alert everybody in the community to get their eyes open so we can make sure a child is brought back safely. They knew her name was KAROL Sanchez. They knew what address she got abducted from or what building she got abducted from in front of. They knew her mama's name. They knew her height. They knew her weight. They knew what she was last wearing. They knew the color of the car that she got into. They knew all of that information. It was more than enough general information in order to trigger an alert. Here's another thing that has to, what has to happen in order for them to trigger alert. It needs to appear that the child is in danger. 4 men in their 20s jumps out of a car and snatches her up and puts her in the car. So you already have that. It's evidence that she's been abducted. It is enough information about this child in order to share it with the public. And we also know that she looked like on video that she was in imminent risk of harm. She was in danger. Immediately, an Amber Alert should have went out within 30 minutes to an hour. And how does that look, my beautiful sisters and brothers from the community? How does that look? It means the local police department contacts the state police department, the coordinator there, who then in turn puts in the information and sends it out to everybody. They have networks everywhere. It hits your cell phones. It hits social media. It hits the news. It hits radio. It hits everybody to let the public know a child has been abducted. But they didn't do this in in KAROL's case. They did not do this. So why is that a problem for me? Why is that a problem? So some people have the argument, and some people are going to say the reason why they didn't do it, because they had evidence, they believe they had evidence ahead of time that says something is fishy with this story. So we're not going to send out an alert because something is not adding up. We want to investigate it. It is, let me see, let me calm myself down. That's what some people are making the argument. that's the reason why they didn't do it, because they felt like they had enough evidence. But I call bullshit on that. That's what I call. And the reason why I say that is because everything happens so fast. Everything happens so fast. Another reason why I say it is because I know how majority of law enforcement, when a child of ours is missing, I know how they respond. Researchers know how they respond. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children know how they respond. So you have all this evidence and you don't release the information. I'd rather release the information and be cautious, err on the side of caution, than to not release it and a child ends up dead. Because what if you already had information to know that, yeah, maybe it was a 23-year-old boyfriend, because maybe they spoke to mom. Maybe they spoke to mom, and maybe mom was saying, I don't know, she has a boyfriend, and maybe mom was nervous and she's telling her whole life, right? Because that's what we do. And that's what so many of us, we have to learn to stop doing that. But that's a whole nother video. Y'all know I get on us all the time about what we say to the authorities and how we say certain things. We need to be coached as a community. And yes, KAROL Sanchez, for some people, may not consider her a part of our community because she's from Honduras. She's Hispanic, right? And it may not be the American blacks experience. I get that. I understand that. But listen, I'm looking at it from the lens of her being a child and her having black skin. Because at the end of the day, no one knows she's from Honduras until they know. At the end of the day, when they see her as a black woman at the end of the day. So we know that those things get accounted the same way in terms of whether or not they're going to take our missing child seriously. So what upset me is the fact that the police department had enough information, whether it was a lie or not. We already know it was a lie. But they had enough information that met the criteria for Amber Alert, which is signed into law. They had enough information to release the alert, to issue the alert, and they chose not to. So why? 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 Let's talk about why. Let's talk about the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, their 2018 report. Let's talk about their 2018 report. Because I want you guys to understand, before we get all up in our feelings, because I know how some of us are in our community, some of us, not all of us, some of us do not take the time out to do the research. We don't take the time out to do our due diligence and finding out what the stats are, how many of our children are reported through Amber Alert, because some people would say, oh, they don't care and they don't report our children. And that information will not be accurate. Not with the report. Now with the follow-up and the response, now we can have an argument. Now we can feel some kind of way. Right? But you have to know the stats. You have to know the numbers. First of all, when it comes to Amber Alerts released, Amber Alerts issued, 36% of Amber Alerts that are issued in 2018 were for black children. 36%. 33%. Very close. 33% of Amber Alerts were for white children. 19% that was issued were for Hispanic children. So let's really look at these numbers for a second, because you know I hate when people play with stats, because you can play with them, you can skew them, you can make them be bigger than what they are. But let me try to be fair for a moment. Just a moment before I get petty, because y'all know I'm going to get petty. But let me just try to be fair for a moment. First of all, white people, we already know the games that they play when it comes to their stats. They like to blow up their stats. We already know that there's more of us in the world than they are, right? More of us than they are. So what, the reason why I say that, I know that's my pettiness coming out, but you know, we got to get petty because we got to tell the truth. The reason why I point that out is because Hispanic people, generally speaking, classify as white. It's a classification system. They classify as white. And when they classify as white, it makes the stats go up even higher. So even though it's saying 33% of Amber Alerts that were released were white, it can be less white Americans that we know of and more Hispanics. So that 19% of Hispanics is probably a higher number. It's probably a higher number, right? So we have to really take that into consideration. But they say all in all, out of all the minorities, that's the word that they use. For many of us, we like to say people of color, right? Out of everybody who is classified as a person of color, whether you like to identify yourself like that or not, that's how you will be classified for the sake of stats. 67% of Amber Alerts are for people of color. 67% of Amber Alerts are for people of color. And 33% are white, allegedly. We know that number is probably a little bit lower for whites and higher for people of color because of the way Hispanics classify. They classify as white. Why does that matter? Some people would say, well, what are you complaining about, Miss Black Woman? Why do you have an attitude? More Amber Alerts, because you know how people get really petty. Let's really be honest. Like every time we do a video like this or we say something, we always got some little distractor, whether they're black or white, because you know we got black distractors too. We got a lot of them out there. We always have a distractor that comes on and say, what your complaint is, what's your problem now? You black people are never happy. You're never happy. 67% of those Amber Alerts are for your people. So it's not that they're not doing their job. 67%. Why are you complaining? Let me tell you why I'm complaining. Because out of all these Amber Alerts that go out for black children, the truth is, black children are less likely to get recovered. The truth is, black children, black women, and black girls are the most missing people that never get recovered. The truth is, black cases, for the most part, never get solved. So yeah, you can issue out an Amber Alert so you can say you did your job. You did your job. You issued the alert. Your job is done. What else do you want from me? We want you to do your job in finding our children. We want you to take this seriously. We want you to get on the ground and find our children. We want you to assign police officers to the case to find our children. We don't want our children's cases to be sitting under somebody's box of donuts. Come on, let's just call it how I see it. We don't want our children's cases to be under somebody's donuts and is not being looked at or taken seriously. We don't want to go to the police department to tell you that our child is missing and you classify our child the wrong way, and therefore resources are not put toward our child for anyone to get off of their asses and find our children. There is a problem in America that we are not addressing on a daily basis. There is a problem in America when it comes to all the missing black children and black women in America that continue to be missing to this day, and nobody seems to care. I don't care if you put out an Amber Alert. I don't care if 67% of Amber Alerts are for people of color. I care that our children are not being located. I care that our children are not being respected. I care that our families are being lied to. I care that our children are being wrongly classified as runaways. I care that our children are ending up dead and their cases are not solved. So you want to know why I felt some kind of way about KAROL Sanchez and her shenanigans? Because Miss KAROL, we all have been 16 years old before, and some of us have been with grown behind men. Let's just be honest. You know, there's a lot of R. Kellys out there in the world. R. Kelly is not the only one. doing nasty pedophilic things. You know, he is not the only one. There's a lot of R. Kellys out there in the world dating 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. And Miss Carol is not the only one with an R. Kelly. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to keep it all the way Gucci. She is not the only one. Some of us got 15 and 16-year-olds in our houses right now who is laid up in a bed with a 24-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21, a grown-ass man. And they 15 and 16 years old. That's just the truth. So why I was upset with Miss Carol, because if you wanted to lie up in your boyfriend's house doing things that a 16-year-old needs to stop doing, because you don't know that that's a concrete jungle out there and life will eat your little ass up, right? You could have just ran away. Shit. You could have just ran away with your boyfriend and called it a day. We already have a hard enough time with people not taking it seriously, finding our children. We didn't need another episode of it. What's up, Sherry? What's up, family? What's up, Tiffany? We didn't need another episode of this. Right? How many of us stayed out late at night when we know we wasn't supposed to, outside doing things that we wasn't supposed to? Did we go ahead and stage a whole goddamn kidnapping? So that's why I was disgusted. But I also want to tell you this. The Amber Alert system is very important. The Amber Alert system is very important because media coverage is supposed to be given to missing children. If 67% of the Amber Alerts are for black children, the critical question I have for you guys is how many of your black children are seen on the news, in social media, on the radio? How many talk about it? How often do you guys get Amber Alerts to your phone regarding the black children that are missing in your area? How many? This is so important that we look at this because I want you to know, according to the data, you can go ahead for yourself, go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, read their 2018 report. It's not that long. It's a very interesting report. It's not very long. You can read it. But 7% of our children get media coverage. And we already know that 33% of white children are alerted by the Amber Alert, but they get coverage. They get coverage. Everybody knows about their cases. And not only do they get coverage, see, now I'm about to get petty. Just want y'all to know. Some people gonna feel in their ways, but we gotta address things in our community that needs to get better. We can't just keep complaining about everybody else and how they treat our communities. We have to start looking at how we treat our own goddamn communities. We gotta start looking at how we treat our own sisters and brothers. We gotta look at our own behaviors and what we're doing that we need to change. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how it shows up for white people. Let's talk about it for a second. Little Rebecca or little Billy goes missing. Hell, little Rebecca and little Billy don't even meet the full goddamn requirement, the criteria for Amber Alert. They might meet one thing, general information. They just got general information. And what happens with that general information? They put it out there. They put it out there. Little Rebecca and little Billy is missing. And what does the community do? Immediately, there are flyers that are drawn up. There is a search team that is organized. And people from the neighborhood come out. And they start knocking on doors. They start looking in garbage cans. They start looking in dumpsters. They start checking buildings. They start posting up the posters. They start asking people, did you see little Billy or did you see little Rebecca? And they organize. They split up. They say, you take the park, you take the field, you take the trailer park. I'm not trying to be funny, you know, I'm just trying to keep it real. You take block 103, you take block 98. They split up and they organize. And they have little team meetings that they direct everybody. And they come out with flashlights. And if it's winter, they come out with glove warmers. And they come out prepared to look for little Rebecca and little Billy. Yes, keyword is organized. They come out prepared. And then what do? Dante in Samaria is reported missing. And they meet all three criteria. They have evidence that they have been abducted. They have general information about the child so the public can know who and what to look for. And they have reason to believe that Dante in Samaria is at risk of harm, imminent risk of harm. And what does our community do? I'll wait. What do? Now, I'm not saying this is everybody. There's a small select number of us that are very organized and we hit the streets. But on a macro level, on a big level, a global level, a national level, what do? We get the alert. Dante in Samaria is missing. We put okay on our phone and we keep on shaking our ass and dancing and drinking and partying and reading and watching TV and laughing and playing and beating our kids. Okay, I'm being funny. It's a little facetious. That's what we do. That's what we do. And then the minute somebody says on social media, please help me find my baby. She is missing. He is missing. What do a lot of us do in our community? Come on, let's talk real. Let's keep it 100. Let's talk real. We start doubting. Well, what they was doing. Shit. You saw what she was wearing in that picture? Her daughter ain't missing. She lying up with a man. That's what the hell she is. Her son ain't missing. That nigga's running the street with his little gangbangers. This is what we say about our own people. This is what we say about our own people. We don't even take it seriously. A flyer can be handed out. Please come out and help us find our child. We be like, oh, wow. Dante missing? That's crazy. I'ma pray for you. I'ma pray for you. Oh, my God. We gotta, we gotta pray. Oh, my God. We gotta pray. I'm going to help. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to help organize a candlelight vigil. I want y'all to come out. Bring a candle. We're going to pray. We need to have community prayer. Come on out. We're going to have Pastor Bishop Jacob come out. Thank you for the donation, Alex. I appreciate that, Alex Little. Thank you for that. We're going to have Pastor come out. Pastor's going to bless the community. Pastor's going to say a prayer. And we're going to have our candles. We're going to be standing there with our candles. Oh, Lord, bring him home. Bring him home. Bring Dante home. Lord Jesus, bring Samaria home. Woo! Comfort the family. Let the family have peace. Let them be found alive. This is what we do. This is what we do. Am I lying? And they go back home and everybody sleep at night. And ain't nobody walking up and down in the neighborhood, knocking on doors, overturning garbage cans, walking in fields, walking in parks, going on roofs of the buildings, going in abandoned houses. Nobody's turning around doing that. No one is turning around doing that. Right? Yes, yes, Shayla. Thoughts and prayers for Samaria's family. Thoughts and prayers for Dante's family. Please, please pray for them, y'all. We need prayers. We need prayers. That's what the hell we do. And we want media to take us seriously. You know when media is going to take us seriously? When we organize our asses. That's when media is going to take us seriously. You know when media is going to take us seriously? When we have our own goddamn alert system. That's when media is going to take us seriously. You know when media is going to take us seriously and cover it? When they see that we ain't no joke. We recovering children left and right. We're getting results. That's when media is going to take us seriously. That's when they're going to take us seriously. We need media coverage, but they're just not going to give it to us. And that's where we have to get ourselves out of that poor way of thinking, family. We need to stop with these thoughts because we get in our heads that they should be giving us coverage. They should be thinking about us and they should be helping us. It's like the saying. We conveniently say things like, God only helps people that help themselves. Well, shit, then start helping yourselves. Start helping yourselves. Let's start organizing. Because they're not going to cover us. The stats show us. They're not going to cover us. We get 7%. 7% of media coverage. This can't keep going on. But let me tell you, let me be fair. Let me be fair. I do recognize that a lot of our families, they don't even know what to do. They don't even know what to do when their child is missing. Why is that? Why is it that many of our families don't know what to do? See, I have to always address this because we as a community, we're not monolithic in our approach. We're not monolithic in our thinking. We're not monolithic as Black people. And what a lot of us do, a lot of us, we may have come from families where maybe we had a little bit more than other people. But if you get in my position ever to travel from state to state to state to state to state and see Black people all around the world, you would know that not all Black people are educated. Not all Black people have the financial resources or the means to make things happen. Not all Black communities get that kind of buy-in from the police department. It's not going to happen in a lot of our communities. So when I really think about that, and when I start doing these kind of videos or having these discussions, or when we do the Black Agenda Tour and we're talking about things and people come up to us after the tours and they share their information, or I get emails from people with their experiences, a lot of our people just don't know what to do. And I think so many of us take that for granted. Because we may have a little bit of money or a little bit of education, or we might live in like New York City or LA or something like that that has a little bit more resources than somebody who lives in Louisville, Kentucky. We might have a little bit more resources than those people, right? And so we might know what to do, but they don't. But I'm going to help you out tonight, and then I'm out. I'm almost finished. I'm going to help you out tonight. First of all, family, I want you to know this. You have to get out your head this whole idea that you have to wait approximately 48 hours in order for you to report your child missing. You do not have, in most states, there's some, you got to check your local states to see what the laws are. But for a lot of states, you do not have to wait 48 hours to report your child missing. And if you do live in a state where they're telling you that you need to wait 48 hours to report your child missing, let me say this to you. We need to start getting creative. We need to start getting creative with what we say and how we say it to the police department. Y'all need to stop telling all of your business. Because you may go in there and you may say, officer, my child is missing. And they're going to ask you a couple of questions. And they're going to ask you questions like, has your child ever ran away before? See, you use the word missing, they respond to you with ran away. And you need to be able to say, what are you talking about? I said my child is missing. My child didn't run away. Why are you telling me my child ran away? My child is missing, not ran away. You need to learn how to listen to what they are saying instead of going into these departments all emotional and we're really not paying attention. And we start having nervous conversation and we start telling all of our business. Have your child ever ran away? Well, yeah, but she came back home. One time she was at her friend's house and she didn't tell me and she slept over. And the next day she came back home. This is what we do. That's too much damn information. You know in your gut when something is wrong. And listen, if your child left the home without permission and you don't know where your child is at, your child is missing. That is the bottom line. That is the only narrative you need to stick to. Thank you, Kevin. He said, I'm beautiful. Okay, that's the only narrative that you need to stick to. Let me tell you about one time I went into my police department here. Because it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And my children have an early curfew. I'm just one of those moms. And so when I'm home at 9 o'clock and my son is not, you missing. That's how I see it. So I walked my little behind across the street, because I live right across the street from the police department. And I went in there and I said, my child is missing. I need to file a missing persons report now. Everybody got on it. They sent me to the back, had me sit down and speak to an officer there. And he said, are you sure your child is missing? Has your child ever ran away before? And I said, ran away? We don't run away in my house. We don't do that. My child is missing. He said, does your son have a cell phone? I said, yes, my son has a cell phone. He has not been answering the cell phone. I called several of his friends. I text several of their moms. No one has seen my child. I need a missing persons report. I was adamant. I didn't change my language. I didn't say, well, maybe, you know what? I didn't check Alex's house. Maybe it ain't the time for me to go to the police department and tell them that I didn't check Alex's house. Instead, before I left, I gave everybody else instructions on what to do. As I'm going to file a missing persons report, my husband went to the other locations that he knows. And he's in his car, and he's driving to the community center. He's driving to the youth center. He's driving to the basketball courts. He's going to the pool where they go to. He's going to all these different locations. And my daughter is there, and she's contacting all her friends so they can get out to see if anyone has seen my child, because he's one of the only children in the community that look like how he look. So it was easy for us to spot. And they're walking into Chinese food stores, and they're walking into the pizza shops, and they're doing what they have to do. But while I'm in the police department, he missing. It's as simple as that. Missing. Not ran away. Not late getting home. He missing. You figure that shit out. You figure it all out. He missing. That's all I know. And you know what the officer did? And I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it worked. But he said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my partner here start gathering general information. But I'm going to try to cover all my what did he say? I'm trying to cover all my corners with you so I can just make sure that he is missing and we don't have to alert everybody, because once we send the alert out, everybody's going to get it. I said, not a problem. I said, but he's writing the paperwork. He said, yeah, I gave the guy my license. I gave him my address. I gave everything I wanted to do. And I gave the other guy my son's cell phone number. He happened to call my son's phone number. And I don't know why my son picked up the phone, but my son picked up the phone. And he said he was down the block at his friend's building, a place he didn't have permission to go. So you already know how that story went. But nonetheless, the paper that they was filling out went into the shredder. They gave me back my information, and they got me in the car. We went down to the building. We got my son. We came back. We all sat down. We spoke to him, and we went on home, and I did what I had to do as a mama. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have to be very strategic with how we move. Family, we need to be very strategic. We keep the narrative what the narrative is. Do not allow other people to change your narrative. Your child is missing. Period. That's it. Another thing I want you to know is that there is a resource center for us. It is called the Black and Missing Foundation. The Black and Missing Foundation. Write that down, people. Somebody put that in there. You should have that as a resource. You should know their website. You should know their social media pages. It's called the Black and Missing Foundation. And as a community, we should be liking their pages and following their pages. And anytime a black child gets put up there as missing, we should be sharing it. Don't worry about people on your feed don't want to see it. This is not about popularity. This is not about the most shares, the most clicks, the most likes, the most comments. This is about getting the information out there. Because what that organization does at the Black and Missing Foundation, they help people who don't know what to do. They help us families, our black families, our families of colors. They help them file police reports the right way because they know what to say. They will get you out there and walk with you through the process. So if you have a child that is missing, you should be contacting the Black and Missing Foundation. Not only will they help you file a police report properly, but they also will create missing people posters for you. A missing poster of your child. They will create it. They will print it up. Because let's just be real. It costs money to print out flyers. Now, money shouldn't matter. To be honest with you, money really shouldn't matter. Your child is missing, it really shouldn't matter. But the reality is, when it comes to the black experience in America, the reality is many people don't have the resources to do it. And the reality is, in our communities, we don't organize. We don't go in our pockets and pull out 20, 40, 50, 100, $200 bills, $1,000 bill to do what we have to do in order for us to be successful in locating our child. But this organization will help you print out posters. They will do it for you and organize with you and get these posters up in the community in order to look for your missing child. And they will post it all over social media. And they'll write blogs. They'll put it on their pages, the different pages that they're affiliated with. They do what they have to do to get the information out there. So I realize that many of us don't have the money. We don't have the money. We don't have the financial means. We don't even, hell, the reality is with the black experience, many of us don't even have supportive neighbors, let alone supportive family members. You call your grandma, your auntie, and tell them that Shanae is missing. Oh, you sure she missing? How about her friend Jasmine she was with? I never liked that girl. I never liked Jasmine. She probably over there, Jasmine. I told you a long time ago to keep an eye on her. I told you a long time ago to keep an eye on her. And that pisses me off about some of our families. That pisses me off. So when you have an organization like the Black and Missing Foundation, utilize it. Another thing that they would do is make sure the word is spread out there. So we got to be able to do it. But lastly, and I'm getting out of here, guys, thank y'all so much for sharing the video. Thank you so much for the donations. I appreciate that. But here's another thing I'm going to do. I want you to understand that you absolutely must make sure that your child is classified the right way. Not as a runaway. Not as a runaway. Right? Your child has to be classified the right way. And to be missing, that could be a child that has been abducted by relatives, a neighbor, friend, stranger. It doesn't matter. The child has been abducted. Missing. Period. It doesn't matter if it's the child's father or the child's mother or a crazy girlfriend, a crazy boyfriend, an auntie, an uncle, a cousin, a nephew. It doesn't matter. Abduction is abduction. That's it. Period. It doesn't matter. So make sure you use that language. If you know that your child's father or your child's mother and all their pettiness came and took your child, a child's grandmama from the mama side or the child's grandmama for the daddy side with all their craziness came and took the child, don't say my child's grandmama, my child's mama, my child's daddy, whatever. Don't say that they took them without permission. Don't use that language. You say they abducted your child. They abducted your child, period. That's it. That's it. Right? So we got to make sure the language is correct. Another category of children that get to be classified as missing are children who leave their home. Children who leave their home. So that's like I said earlier, when you go into the police department, my child is missing. Even if they said, F you, I'm out. Even if you know they're with their no good 30-year-old boyfriend. Even if you know they hanging out with their little friends and they go missing for 3-4 days because they out there thinking they grown, smoking weed and other stuff that they do. Even if you know that for a fact. If your child did not have permission to leave the home, your child is missing. Period. 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 Your child is missing. Language matters. Right? Your child is missing. Another category of children that we need to be aware of that goes missing all the time for whatever reason are our children who are in foster care or our homeless children. And see, this is a population that is overlooked because, like I say to you guys all the time, the system is structured and designed that it impacts our families negatively. It breaks down our families. First of all, we're overrepresented in foster care. And many of our foster children, as I did in my last video, are removed from their homes on the basis of poverty that they classified as neglect. I worked this system for many years. Some of these cases don't deserve to get removed. They're not being beat. They're not being abused. They're not being neglected, but they're poor. They're poor and they're being removed out their homes for poverty. And when you take a child out their home, it's very traumatizing. And you take them out the home and you put them in a home that's mistreating them or they just don't want to be at, they're going to leave that home because in their mind, they want to get back home to their natural parents, their natural family. Whether you think they're good parents or not, they love their parents and they want to be back home with their parents. So oftentimes, the foster mother, what the foster mother or the group home or whatever, what they would do is, maybe the group home might be a little bit different, but the foster mother, what they would do is wait until the next business day and call the diapers worker or the CPS worker. Diapers in my state, but you know, your state is a different name, DCF, whatever the case is. But they'll call the Child Protection Service worker. Or they might call the special response number. He ran away. That's the language that they use. He ran away. He ran away. And then that worker goes to sleep at night because it ain't their child. They don't care. They don't give two licks about your missing child. They go to sleep, and when they get into the office, they conference with their supervisor, and their supervisor tells them to write up an incident report, a critical incident report. And they go and they tell the guardian ad litem, the law guardian, and they write up in their court report that the child ran away. And this is the language that they're using. And that's improper language. Our foster kids, when they leave the foster homes, they're missing. They're missing. They're missing. And I'm not faulting foster parents because sometimes they just don't know either. Sometimes they're just so tired. They're tired of the child tearing up their house, acting up, and they don't recognize because they're not trained to see that it's trauma, right? They're not really trained to see that it's trauma. They don't really even understand how trauma looks because half of them got trauma their own damn selves, right? But they're tired, and they say they ran away. And then those children get overlooked. But guess what's happening to those children? Those children are being sex trafficked. Those children are being human trafficked. Those children are being killed. Because no one, not even us, are taking our children seriously. Missing is the language we're using. Missing. Missing. Homeless children as well. People overlook homeless children and they see them as bad kids. They see them as delinquents. They see them as a menace to society. This is what they made a movie about them kids, right? This is how they see them. So when one of those badass kids that is a menace to society runs away, goes missing, ain't nobody caring about them. And that is a problem. Those children need to be properly reported. So if you are a CPS worker, you need to change your narrative on how you report on these children. If you are a foster care parent, you need to change your narrative of how you report on these children. If you are a detention or a group home worker, you need to change your narrative. Because even though you might be tired of those children are our children and it matters. It matters. And the last thing I want to say is when we wrongly classify our children, when we classify them as runaways, problem children, delinquents, gang involvement, oh, she just ran away with her boyfriend, issues at home, parenting issues. This is what we say. When we wrongly classify our children, they will not issue an Amber Alert. They're not. It's not even going to rise to that level. We got to change our language, and we have to organize as a community because our children really should matter. So when we start complaining about these numbers, 75,000 missing children, 75,000 missing girls and women, when we start complaining about these numbers that are coming out, these stats that are coming out, and every now and then when the news media, whether it's online or on TV, when they feel like talking about our missing black women or our missing black girls or our missing black boys, when they feel like talking about it, every now and then they do it, we need to take these things seriously. That needs to be a wake-up call that we are invisible in America. We continue to be invisible in America, and no one cares about our family units. You know why? Because we have to care first. We have to care first. So that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all so much for sharing the video. That is my 1-hour show here on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for sharing the video. And you know, sometimes I have to come on here and I have to do serious videos. I'm always going to try to be funny because I am a funny person. I'm always going to do that. But I have to be serious about this. Because we want those numbers to go down. We want people to care about us. We have to really start looking at things differently. We have to really start analyzing what's happening in this world differently. I'm telling you guys. It is a systematic, orchestrated deconstruction of our family units. It is systematically orchestrated to deconstruct our family units. And no one is going to care if we don't care. No one is going to say it's a problem that needs to be fixed if we don't say it's a problem that needs to be fixed and we don't organize as such. So every last one of us who are listening to this video, who is watching this video, we should be going to the Black and Missing Foundation on social media, Instagram, Facebook, their website, and we should be clicking it to follow it, like them, send them an email, ask them if anything you can do. Ask them if there's any chapters or organizations, how do they structure it. We need to be pouring into these things because that is the media outlet that is getting it out there when our children go missing. That's all I have for you guys. Make sure you share the video. Like and follow me here on Facebook, but make sure you go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe to YouTube because that's where I'm going to be doing most of my videos. I'm waiting you guys out the process. Go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's at Dr. Shauna or Dr. Shauna Etienne. You will find me everywhere on the internet. If you just put in Dr. Shauna, I will show up. I love you all. Peace and blessings, family. Thank y'all all for the donations. Have a blessed night, and I'll see you guys soon.